102 for Cloudcroft. High of 65 and an overnight low of 47. For tomorrow, we're looking at mostly sunny skies with a slight chance of rain. In Alamogordo tomorrow, high of 85, low of 64. Cloudcroft tomorrow, high of 66, overnight low of 49.
The Black and Gold make the trip up Highway 70 to take on the Ruidoso Warriors. Tonight, 6:45 pregame, 7 p.m. kickoff. Tigers versus Warriors on ESPN Alamogordo 103.7. The NFL begins Sunday on ESPN Alamogordo 103.7. It's a doubleheader starting with the Niners and the Vikings at 11 a.m., followed by the Cowboys at the Panthers. Your home for the NFL is ESPN Alamogordo 103.7. This is the KNMZ Football Roundtable, Season 31. Once again, 5 local business people and a competition picking winners from the best high school, college, and NFL games every week. Manny Gonzalez from Charles Garland and Harris Agency, Donna Columbus of First National Bank, Brandon Burling from Desert Sun Auto Group, Timothy Brock of Christ Community Church, and Jake Roberts of Caldwell Banker Sudderth Nelson. Now, let's get to the picks. ESPN Alamogordo 103.7. Welcome into the KNMZ Football Roundtable here as we get into week 3. We're into September. That's football time. August still kind of feels weird when we're talking football, but September for sure. College football is fully going. We get the NFL started this weekend in full. Of course, we had last night's game, which we were all kind of chatting about and how ugly it was. And you know, as somebody made a good point, somebody following Twitter made the point, you know, we forgot how bad the football was for a lot of games last year, and it's kind of carried over, at least to the first game, but hopefully it's not a sign of things to come and all of that. All right, Manny Gonzalez from Charles Garland and Harris. Manny, how are you, buddy?
Good morning. Glad to be here. I almost didn't make it. I almost had jury duty today, so I bought my shotgun rider, Cesar Acosta, from the agency. He prepared all week long to fill in for me, and then I called him and bumped him out of the way, so Cesar's here with me. He's going to get the lay of the land in case jury duty interferes with our show in the future, but good morning, everybody. Glad to be here.
No Metroplex. I'm always so disappointed when I don't get that.
And yes, hello to the greater Alamogordo Holloman Metroplex in the Tularosa Valley.
Brian Smythe from First National Bank.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks, Manny. Always.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be quiet.
Now you're seeing what Donna had to do with all the years following after Manny.
I
usually
know.
It's like after a lead pipe lock or touchdown Jesus or in the biggity O or things like that. Which we will get a little bit late. Well, do we get that this week? We do get that this week. They are in the biggity O. So, Brandon Burling from Desert Sun Auto Group. Brandon, what's up, buddy?
Nothing. Just beautiful day. Got some cloud cover, and it's Friday. It's no football here tonight, but there's
Tularosa.
Yeah, Tularosa's got game, and then
you can make a short trip up to Ruidoso as well. I mean, it's all kind of here in the area. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Timothy Brock from Christ Community Church.
Hey guys, gentlemen, good to see everybody. It's a good sign that it's Friday.
Yeah,
it's fun, right? Jake's here.
Never a bad thing.
Yeah. And Jake Roberts from Caldwell Banker, Sudderth Nelson.
Honestly, I'm still speechless. We just got done watching Brandon's dance moves, so I mean, he's got me awestruck right now. I'll start doing my own drone videos now.
If you haven't gone to the Desert Sun Auto, is it on the Auto Group Facebook page?
Yes.
Yeah. Desert Sun Facebook page, you can see Brandon and his In My Feelings challenge. The
dance crew.
Yes. Wow. The Drake song, which obviously there's some people that got hurt. Did you jump out of the moving car, or did you do something different?
No, we got up on the roof.
Oh, okay.
We did the Will Smith version of it and got up on top of the roof of Toyota.
Well, that's good car safety that you didn't do it cruising around and jumping out of the car.
I had to put some thought into that because my initial thing was, oh man, this is going to be fun. But then I said, no, it's probably not a very good representation of how to properly use an automobile. So
yeah,
we took the safe high route, I guess.
And Will's was very good. Now, Will was he in Paris, I think, when he did his?
I think he was in
Or it might have been
Budapest.
Budapest, that's right. It was in Hungary or something like
Let's
that.
turn into a pop culture show real fast. That's cool. Nice pivot, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's go ahead and move over to the football, which, I mean, let's be honest, football is kind of pop culture in a lot of ways. Alamogordo heading up the road to play Ruidoso. I can't remember the last time Tigers played Ruidoso. Manny, you being the Tiger football guy, it's been a while.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, we got excited when Ruidoso and Tularosa got back together.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time. I don't recall.
And it's just a classification jump. Ruidoso's 4, and they're number 1 in 4A right now against Alamogordo in 5A. So there's really, I mean, certainly school size, Ruidoso is considerably smaller than what Alamogordo is, but this is going to be a tough test. Ruidoso, they're defending state champs, and they've won a couple of state championships in the last 4 or 5 years. They've been, basically every year they compete for a state title. They're a great program, and the Tigers will have their work cut out for them tonight against the Warriors. They've got a solid quarterback. They throw and run the football well. They do kind of similar to what we've seen from the first 2 games. So it'll be a challenge, but up in the mountains, hopefully the weather will hold out for us, and we'll get a good game tonight. Manny?
We'll see what kind of condition the Tigers are in. The only thing I could identify as a special parameter is the altitude. And so, but it's going to be cool enough that maybe that's not a factor. Ruidoso has put up 82 points and given up 13 points. And so they got something going on, although I don't recall that their first 2 opponents were very significant.
Hatch and I can't remember the first one. Crown Point, maybe?
Yeah, someone like that. And so I'm not sure I'm impressed with that, with their body of work so far. And Alamogordo is 5A. They're going up the hill for a 4A contest. I'm going to say Alamogordo on the road.
All right. Brian?
Well, gone with Alamogordo a couple weeks. I'm going to go against them now. I'm going to stick with since we do have a branch there in Ruidoso, I'm going to support the Ruidoso branch today, and I'm going Ruidoso.
All right, going with the Warriors.
And he bangs the table with it. I don't know if he's trying to talk himself into it. Yeah.
Brandon?
I've been impressed. Ruidoso has been putting up some good teams for the last 3-4 years now, I'd say. I mean, they've hung in there. So, got to give them credit for putting a team that quality together year after year. Alamogordo, I still think, is trying to find their groove. I think they're slowly getting there. I'm just not sure they're going to be able to go up to Ruidoso and win in their place. I'm going to go Ruidoso.
Tim?
Yeah, I got to do a few Ruidoso games last year, and their offensive line is the biggest. I didn't get to do any like Las Cruces or Manzano types, but they are massive guys, and I don't know how many they keep, how many they've lost, but it's also a really unique place to play. They take the kids off campus, and then they drive them up with like fire trucks and like the police department, and they come in off campus back onto the side. It's really a unique way to start a game. So if you've never been to a Ruidoso football game, this is a good one to go to, obviously with Alamogordo being up there. Really cool environment. The end zone has like this huge like lift off in the corner, so you could be standing up, and I'd be 8 feet tall if I stood in the corner, to give you some idea. So it's really an odd place, but awesome place. So I'm gonna go out on a limb, and well, maybe not a limb, but I'm gonna go with Ruidoso just because I think that they have they're kind of a blue chip in 4A now, and I think they're going to take this one.
All right. Jake?
For the record, you're still the same height no matter where you stand.
Yeah, but I would appear to be, the visual, basically if you put a normal sized receiver in the corner of their end zone, he would be like 2 to 3 feet higher than the guy standing in front of him.
Okay,
I mean,
no, fair enough.
Inches are important.
Very good point.
We're in the soul-saving business. Optics are important.
That's right. And I'm used to standing on some type of platform when I talk, so
For all the reasons you guys mentioned, I do think Ruidoso is going to come out on this one. I'm still waiting on Alamogordo to kind of show me something, really show that they're in the games. I mean, their kicking game is amazing, but you don't win a lot of games just on the kicker alone.
Hey, with the high altitude though, Brett might make one from 60 tonight.
Right, which would be interesting to see. That would be fantastic. Warriors, they come out early. They've been scoring, in the first couple of quarters. I think they're going to put it away early. I'm going to take the Warriors on this one.
I think Alamogordo's improved. I felt last week was better, even though the score was pretty much similar. It was against a better team.
Yeah.
The offense looked so much better than they did from week 1 against Valencia to week 2 against Los Lunas. Braden looked a lot more comfortable. Quarterback got the ball in the hands of their playmakers. If they get the running game going a little bit, that could be really huge for them. Defense is doing a lot of good things. They're still, obviously giving up some points and falling behind, but a lot of that I think has to do that the offense not getting into any sustained drives makes it difficult for the defense make things happen. So, yeah, and I was going to go Alamogordo. I'm going to go Ruidoso. It's giving credit to them. It's not so much against Alamogordo, and this is a team that still needs to learn how to win. And I think that is something that is very underrated in terms of finding your groove and being able to do that stuff well in terms of winning those games. So could be tonight. I think Alamogordo's, if they play their best game of the year so far, if they show improvement again, that's the big thing for me is to hopefully see improvement continuing for the Tigers. And just a tough one tonight. We'll see what happens and if they can continue to show that. All right, out at Cerny Stadium tonight, Tularosa trying to bounce back after a loss to Socorro last week. They get Lordsburg, coached by Dale Hooper, who, of course, coached here in Alamogordo for 3 seasons? I'm trying to remember.
I think 4.
I think it was 4.
I think all 4 of Kyle's years.
Yeah. So, out there in Lordsburg trying to come up with a win. This is a pretty good rivalry. Lordsburg and Tularosa have always had some good games in football and a lot of other sports as well. So I think this is always an important game for each side to feel like they want to win. And pretty decent road trip for the Mavericks coming in to play the Wildcats. And we'll see if Thule can bounce back. Boy, night and day difference in terms of how much they were able to rack up in running yards. I think they had like 400-something running yards against Hot Springs a couple weeks ago, and it was like 150 against Socorro last week. And Socorro, I think they're ranked top 5 now in 4A, so, or in 3A, I should say. Brian, who do you like?
Tell you what, I think Tularosa is going to bounce back this week. They're playing at home, and once again, we have a branch there, and I'm going to support my branches. That's my theme for the day. That's how I made my picks.
I was going to say, you got another one coming up right after this,
I do,
too,
and you can pretty much guess what I'm going to take in that one. So I got Thule.
That'll make the college games very interesting.
Yeah. Brandon?
I think Tularosa's having a great year. I think overall, what are they overall ranked? Like number
55.
Well,
I'm sorry, 54th in the state.
Yeah, they're 8 in the classification. 8
yes,
and 9, so, yeah.
Which is, that's not bad. So I think Lordsburg is ranked like 25, or they're not ranked very good.
And they're actually a classification below, so they're not. I don't believe they're in the same class that Thule is.
Tularosa's got this hands down. Go Wildcats! Go out there and tear them up tonight.
Tim.
Yeah, obviously I'm a friend of Coach Hooper. He's a good guy. I think he's hopefully going to turn this program over in Lordsburg around. They lost so many talented kids 2 years ago, and they were really good at football, basketball. Their boys they look like, they threw hay bales for a living. But Tularosa, man, they're good, especially at home. That's a pretty long drive. So I'd be happy for Coach Hooper if he can get a win, but happy for Tularosa if they do what they need to do tonight. So I'm going to pick Tularosa.
All right, Jake.
I'm going Tularosa in this one as well. The Wildcats are still looking good on their defense. They did lose last week, which, just always a little bit of a confidence booster. But
it was a good team, though.
But it was a good team, and so they still got number 55, who's leading their defense and really putting it down. And I'd like to see them. I'd like to see them continue that role.
Yeah. They, as long as they're able to get the run game going the way they want to, and that's what they do best, they'll have a good night, and I think they will. I just think Tularosa's a better team. They'll get the win. Manny?
Yeah, this is a 2A school coming into a 3A stadium, so that's how I feel about that. Both teams have put up 36 points. The difference in this one for me is Lordsburg has given up 78 points. Tularosa's only given up 49. It's in their place. Beat the people you're supposed to beat. I'm going Thule.
Cloudcroft, meanwhile, 2-0. What a great start to the season for a return to 11-man football for Cloudcroft. Coach Burnett's done a great job up there. They beat Mission Academy and Success, or Mission Achievement. Success. Mm-hmm. Get that right eventually. Last week, and close game, 40-33. So it was a fun game from what it sounded like. Loving's coming off a win over Clayton. For Cloudcroft, the kid to watch for is Dylan Eldridge. He's basically their every man. He does a little bit of passing. He runs the ball a lot, and they also bring in Keegan Adams.
Yep, Keegan.
In the first game. It didn't look like he threw as much in the game against Mission Achievement, according to the stats from what I was looking at. So
definitely the other piece of their offensive puzzle. He goes out for a lot of passes, runs the ball.
Yeah.
They move him around.
And Marshall Verdon as well is another part of what they do up there in Cloudcroft. But they've got a really good offense. You figure they put up 40 points in the first week and 62, or 40 points last week and 62 in the first week. So, boy, credit to them. I just didn't think, I thought it would be a little bit of a challenge for them. Now they're going up against a team in Loving that, has been in the 11-man game, but so have the last two teams. So I think this will probably be the toughest challenge they've faced so far in this new season. But Brandon, what do you like?
Cloudcroft has a lot of excitement. I'll tell you, I was up in the mountains camping, and I was outside closer to like on the way to Silver Lake, and I could hear the crowd. I could hear every time a touchdown, and I was like, dang, another one. Man, there's another one. Like, they had a lot of excitement, and I am just so happy for Cloudcroft to have that excitement in their community. And I think they're on a roll. I think they've got a lot of energy right now, and I'm expecting them to take that into Loving tonight and win. I'm gonna go Cloudcroft on the road.
Tim, you were there at that game, right?
Yeah, I was, and they do run a really, really interesting offense because they really want to speed it up, but they only have, I don't know, 15 players. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, maybe 15 players, 16. And so they move the ball quickly. They score a lot of points, as you've alluded to, but they actually slow it down. They snap the ball every time within 5 seconds of the play clock. So I think if they had a few more boys, they could be just putting up a ton of points the way they're able to get the ball down the field. But it's early in the year. It's hard to know as far as what the competition is like. But I'm going to go with Cloudcroft. I think the coach is doing an awesome thing with the few kids that he has. Those kids are meant to play football, and it shows. So I'm going to go with Cloudcroft.
Jake?
Cloudcroft is undefeated over the last two games. You hit it right on the head. Number 2, Dylan Eldridge, has just been super impressive. He's got 385 yards over the last two games. He's the real deal. Gotta love what they're doing up there. I'm gonna go ahead and take Cloudcroft.
Well, I mean, listen, they're in the. No, this is Loving would be. No, this is the same classification. This is 2A. That's right. That's what I was trying to figure out. Eunice is number 2 in 2A. The way they've moved around some of the football, I'm getting a little bit confused in all this. So,
there's only 119 schools.
Only. It's not so much the number of schools, it's the way they move around the classifications
Constantly.
every 2 years, and I'm just
Not to mention Alamo's like a hybrid 5A, 6A school now, so it's super
they're not
confusing.
the only one that's like that. There's a ton. I mean, because you have football that has the 2A through 6A, and then 8-man and 6-man, and then of course everything else is 1A through 5A, and it's a little ridiculous. I'm gonna go Loving at home. I think this is a good challenge for Tula or for Cloudcroft. And I hope Cloudcroft proves me wrong, just because it's just a fun story to see them playing so well here early on in the season. But I think in their place, Loving, I'm going to go with the Falcons. Manny?
Tim, thanks for explaining the manpower numbers to us. They're not too platoon, and they put up 102 points, but they've given up 66, and that says something to that. On the other hand, the Falcons have put up 28 points and given up 14. This should be a good offensive-defensive test. I like Cloudcroft on the road, though. I'm going Bears.
And I think we know where Brian's going on with this.
Yeah, Team First National, going Cloudcroft.
All right. I was the only one who went out there with Loving. Okay.
And I thought that, it was a coin toss for me, but you might steal one on us here.
Cruces heads up to Albuquerque to take on La Cueva. By the way, great matchup last night between El Dorado and Cleveland. Cleveland won that game, and I can't think of their running back's name, but I think he transferred from El Paso Andres, and he racked up almost 400 yards on the ground last night in that game. So by him, I think it was 382 was the final number on it. So. Cruces is coming off a loss to El Dorado. La Cueva beat Valley 45-0 last week. I feel like you have to put Cleveland at number 1 right now based on the win over El Dorado. La Cueva could answer right back with that with the win against Cruces High. Good matchup. Cruces certainly doesn't want to fall to 1 and 2. I guarantee they don't want to lose to Albuquerque teams back-to-back weeks. So we'll see what happens. Tim, what do you like?
Well, I just think I was dead wrong last week with Las Cruces, as most of us were, but
gave up 70 points.
Yeah,
that was just shocking.
What in the world? So this time it's the unusual situation where Cruces is traveling up to Albuquerque instead of them hosting. So I'm gonna go with La Cueva. They're another. This would be an awesome game to go to. I mean, talk about if you were retired and just, hey, I can go wherever I want tonight. I would go to this game, but I don't have that luxury. But I would love to see who wins. So I'm gonna go with La Cueva.
Okay, Jake.
La Cueva. La Cueva has given up about 26 points over the last 2 games. They have scored 83 points over those last 2 games. I just think they're going to be a tough beat, so I'll take La Cueva.
All right. Just based on last week and the fact that it's in Albuquerque, I'm going to go La Cueva. It's just hard for me to pick Cruces coming off of them giving up 70. I don't know. I mean, El Dorado could be in the state title game at the end of the year. Who knows? That was a very close game between Cleveland and them last night. So, but La Cueva certainly, I think, going to be in that mix. Manny?
Yeah, you guys said it all on this one. I'm going to go La Cueva Bears on this one. They're at home. Las Cruces got a nice long road trip ahead of them. Might be a little weather up there today, too, as well. So I'm going La Cueva.
Brian?
Yeah, I'm also on La Cueva. I just think they're going to be a little too difficult for Las Cruces to put a road trip in there. All that being said, I think La Cueva is just going to be a stronger team for them.
All right, Brandon?
You know, I was looking on Max Preps, and they have La Cueva as number 1.
Yes.
And Las Cruces at number 3.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any. That just doesn't make sense. Like, right, you got a 0-2 team ranked higher, or
Cruces is 1-1.
1-1. Sorry, and then it's still ranked number 3.
I think
don't know.
because of who they. Here's the deal with the Max Preps rankings. Some of that is based off of what was last year, and they use this Freeman rankings where they've got like some mathematical deal. So you kind of have to take the Max Preps rankings for what they are sometimes.
Yeah, it just kind of threw me for a loop there. I think there's better teams than Cruces. I think Cruces is just having an off year. I think La Cueva's got this at home tonight.
All right. Speaking of off year, for the first time since 1986, Artesia starts the season 0-2.
Yeah.
The crazy thing about it is last week they were up 37-14 going into the fourth quarter.
No way.
And gave up 28 points in the fourth quarter for Hobbs to get the win. So that was the thing that was crazy about that finish. Hobbs beating them, I mean, if it had been a close game throughout and Hobbs scored late, okay. But for Artesia to give up 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter and lose is just shocking to me. So, Belen's 2-0, and Belen's right there in the state title discussion in 5A. Los Lunas is there. Artesia is still there. I know they're 0-2, but this is a tough game, and this is one of those where Artesia is going to be sitting there. We got to take care of business. I mean, we can't drop to 0-3. I'm sure in their minds, and Belen is. Let's. Not to sound too aggressive here, but let's step on the throat. Let's see if we can send Artesia to 0-3. So to me, this is a really, really intriguing game. Jake?
Exactly the same thing, and I've been. This is the pick that I struggled with all week as I sat there and played with it. The fact that Artesia is 0-2 is just shocking to me. What's interesting is even being 0-2, they're still ranked 22 in the state. Yeah. So they're still getting some love, from the rankings. That said, they lost that close game to Hobbs. I think they're going to be really hungry for their first win, but they've given up a lot of points. So I'm going to take Belen.
All right. I just can't see Artesia losing 3 straight. I would love to pick Belen in this game, and I can very easily see the Eagles go in there and win it, but at their place, it's the first 5A team that they've played this year. They've played 6A teams the first 2 weeks in Carlsbad and Hobbs, so I think they'll take care of business at home. Artesia will get the win. Manny?
You just said the most important thing. Body of work. They've played 6A teams, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think that's a very significant factor. What I know about Artesia is when they're in their place, they're in their place. And I got to believe that they're going to bounce back. Belen Eagles will make it interesting, but I'm going Bulldogs at home.
Brian?
Yeah, this definitely was a struggle game. 0-2 on Artesia, that's just a big surprise. They're playing at home. Yeah, I think they're off to Schneid this week. Plus, it's Artesia National Bank. Another one of ours. Team Bank.
Yeah. I promise you I didn't plan this out for Brian this way. Brandon?
Made it easy for me.
I've... Like Jake, I've struggled with this game. It's very rare that you see Artesia start off 0-2. I have them as number 6, Belen number 3. Belen's been pretty impressive this year. Going into Artesia, it usually means something, but I mean they lost their first home game pretty bad at home. I think.
You talking about Artesia?
Yeah.
I think it was 2 touchdowns. I think it was 28-14. So.
I think I'm gonna go Belen. I'm gonna go Belen.
Tim?
I actually think this won't be close. I think Artesia don't let that 0-2 against two good teams. I've heard a lot of people say that Carlsbad is very good this year.
They usually have the athlete and just the size. Our Carlsbad kids, I don't know what it is. They're just huge.
And I thought Hobbs would beat Clovis in week 1. Hobbs has really been good the last few years. So I think Artesia's lost 2 tough games. And Belen, yeah, they're a good team, but they beat Farmington and Del Norte. Those are 2 subclass kind of teams. So I'm going to go Artesia, and I think it's going to be a blowout.
All right.
Before we get away from that now, last week, that game Goddard and Carlsbad was a double forfeit, they called it.
It's going to end up being a tie, because what it was, they
scoreless tie, right?
Yeah, because they played to halftime, and it was scoreless, and the weather came in, and if a game gets to halftime, it's official.
So that's what happened.
That's what happened. So yeah, we didn't put that count that in our picks from last week. So rather than trying to fit a
well, I did. I put -1 on each one of ours.
Did you? Okay, yeah. Sweet, awesome. We'll take
changes everything.
By the way, Mescalero Apache is taking on the Tularosa JV tomorrow, and I'm trying to think. The biggest game of the week was last night, I think, between Cleveland and El Dorado, and I think Mayfield's got West Mesa tonight. They'll cruise in that game. Some of the area teams. I'll have to go and look see what other interesting games we got for the weekend.
One last thing. I picked Artesia, but if Belen goes in and whips the cat on them, that's okay with me too.
Amen.
Because they're coming to our house pretty soon.
Last game of the season. All right, we'll come back and more of the KNMZ Football Roundtable here on ESPN Alamogordo 103.7 after this.
Hi, I'm Pastor Tim Brock, and I'd like to invite you to Christ Community Church, a place to belong, a place to come together, and a place to leave inspired. We have dynamic worship, engaging and relevant Bible teaching, and excellent ministries for everyone in the family. Our worship services are Sundays at 9 and 11:15. Christ Community Church, where it's about relationship, not religion, and where Jesus Christ is Lord. For more information, find us online at christcommunityalamo.org.
This is Brandon with Desert Sun. I'm not sure if you all know this, but Desert Sun Auto Group consists of 5 dealerships across the great state of New Mexico. This means we have 5 new car departments with over 500 vehicles to choose from and over 200 quality pre-owned vehicles. Majority of these vehicles, when bought from us, are backed with Desert Sun's lifetime powertrain protection. Stop by either Desert Sun Motors or Desert Sun Toyota today and let us help you find your new ride. See our full inventory at DesertSunMotors.com.
At Charles Garland and Harris Insurance, we are proud of the great high schools in Alamogordo, Cloudcroft, Mescalero, and Tularosa. Our student athletes set a valuable example for everyone to follow. They work hard to succeed in the classroom and in competitive sports and contribute enormous time and energy to bring pride to their schools and community. At Charles Garland and Harris Insurance, as we work hard to protect the families and businesses of Otero County, we proudly take pause to follow our student athletes and extend our best wishes for their success every day in the classroom and on game day.
Now you have a choice when it comes to keeping massive files of your bank statements every month. With an online e-statement, you'll have an accurate, easy-to-read electronic statement you can access anywhere, anytime. Get more control over your cash flow. And no more giant filing cabinets. Our e-statements get an A+. First National Bank, member FDIC. When you grow, we grow.
Are you looking to rent or need someone to manage your property? Hi, I'm Jake Roberts with Coldwell Banker, Sudderth Nelson. Did you know that we are the largest property management company in Alamogordo? Whether you are looking for a short-term housing solution or to turn an existing property into a great long-term investment, give us a call at 575-437-1137. Visit our website today at alamogordocoldwellbanker.com or come by and see us at 800 Scenic Drive.
ESPN Alamogordo 103.7. This is the KNMZ Football Roundtable. Happy Friday to everybody. And a reminder, if you can't make it up Highway 70 tonight, you can listen to the game here on 103.7. And, of course, you can also find us at YouTube, youtube.com/ESPN Alamogordo. And you can listen to this show live. You can go back and listen to it later if you want to, if you can't be with us live. So lots of ways to tune in. And, of course, for the football game tonight as well. All right, off to college football now. All right, we're gonna, because I didn't put a couple of our teams here on the sheet this week, mainly because the spreads are ridiculous. Oklahoma looked good really good against Florida Atlantic last week, so our 2 Sooner fans will be very excited with that one. And I can't believe the line it just shows the rebuild that Chip Kelly's got going on there at UCLA. UCLA is a 30-point underdog at Norman this weekend. That's crazy.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, man, that's doesn't seem right, but I like it.
Brian, how'd you like Kyler Murray? Pretty excited with him?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah. So
he didn't put a whole lot of yards, but he looked good.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole team actually looked good.
I really thought Florida Atlantic would put up a little better of a fight, but man, that game was over at midway through the second quarter. I mean, it was done.
Still happy for that program.
Yeah, I mean, and Lane's just he's not bad for college football. He's not the coach speak guy. He's going to be who he's going to be. So credit to him, and he can definitely do that at Florida Atlantic. Notre Dame, meanwhile, gets Ball State this weekend at home again. They're 35.5-point favorites, but really good win for them last week against Michigan. Brandon Wimbush. There was a stat that I saw that I didn't realize. Michigan's got one of the longest losing streaks in road games against ranked teams. Something like 17 or 18 straight they've lost against ranked teams on the road, and so Notre Dame just went ahead and added to that, and Manny had no problem with that at all.
The Irish never were behind in that game. They had it in hand from the beginning. I enjoyed watching that. I was very impressed.
Yeah, and this week they should take care of business.
They better.
In-state rival.
I'll have all the TVs on, but I'll probably be doing some chores and taking care of some other stuff.
So
I don't
the
think
windows will be open.
I don't think it's windows will be open. I don't think it'll be a particularly exciting game, but I'm going to watch it anyway.
Yeah, Ball State is in Indiana, right? I'm not crazy. I'm fairly certain it is. Yeah. Area teams, New Mexico State gets Utah State. Utah State's getting 24 in that game. That's just this is the team they played in the Arizona Bowl last year, so I think that has more to do with NMSU and who they've lost. UTEP lost to Northern Arizona, which is an FCS team, at home last week, 30-10. Not only did they lose, they kind of lost handily. They're 23.5-point dogs at UNLV, and New Mexico goes to Wisconsin and are 35-point underdogs there. Number 5, Wisconsin. I should point that out. So
I don't even think UNM will cover that.
I wouldn't think so, but
take that one.
We'll see. At least they took care of business against a team they paid to come in and play last week. I mean, they beat up on Incarnate Word, whereas UTEP paid Northern Arizona to come play and then lost. So that's
when you put it that way, Charles.
Not good. All right, Georgia at South Carolina, good SEC matchup. Number 3 Georgia getting 10 points in this game. South Carolina got off to a good start last week, and that could be an interesting early season SEC matchup. We'll see. Manny, who do you like?
And I'm going to cruise through the college because it's still very new in the season. Everyone's riding on a lot of hope. And I'm just paying attention to what the corporation guys are doing in this early part of the season. Georgia is favored by 10. The over-under is 56. I'm going Georgia.
Brian.
I think Georgia has just a little too much talent for them. Even though they're going on the road, I think they're going to take this one. Georgia.
All right. Brandon?
I think the Bulldogs are chasing around some Gamecocks. I'm going to go Georgia.
Tim?
Yeah, I'm not going to go against Kirby Smart and Jake Fromm, especially as a person who's kind of fond of the Florida Gators, knowing what Will Muschamp did or didn't do. Definitely not going to go with the Will Muschamp team, so I'm going to go Georgia.
Jake?
Georgia.
Yeah, I'll go Bulldogs. But I think this is going to 10 points. I think this will be an interesting game. It's it's in Columbia, so I think South Carolina can definitely make it intriguing. But yeah, I'll go with the Bulldogs. Pac-12 matchup, USC, ranked number 17, really didn't play that well against UNLV last week. Stanford getting 6 points, so not a whole lot home field, plus about a field goal for them here. So really not a ton to get excited about in terms of the spread. But Stanford is at home, and Stanford's had pretty good success against USC in recent years, so we'll see what they can do here. Brian?
Yeah, I think USC, they always seem to attract some really good talent. I believe that this year is pretty young. However, it's a rivalry game. Stanford, they got some receivers, they got some tight ends, they got Bryce Love. That guy's just a beast. And they got a quarterback who's looking pretty sharp. I'm going Stanford in this one.
All right, Brandon.
Yeah, Stanford kind of holds a special place for me.
Turn down all those offers.
Yeah.
Kind of feel bad about that.
Actually, I'll be there in their backyard here in about 2 weeks, but I'm going to go Stanford.
Tim.
Yeah, I mean, I always say there's no rhyme or reason sometimes of why we like or don't like certain schools or teams or whatever, especially in Alamogordo. And yeah, Brandon likes Stanford because he's a Andrew Luck fan. Is that what you're getting at? Okay. Maybe KJ Costello is the next big thing. Bryce Love is already a big thing, and I think David Shaw is the next Dallas Cowboys head coach. So I'm going Stanford.
Okay, Jake.
Actually, in their last two matchups between USC and Stanford, USC came out on top.
Did they?
There's still some questions about JT Daniels. He looks really, really good in the pocket. He's unflappable, but, we don't know that he's actually seen any big tests at this point in time. As long as USC can actually, keep down the big plays, if they can stop the big plays, I think USC is going to take this.
All right, going Trojans. I like Stanford's defense. I think at home, and I think Bryce Love, he'll be able to control the pace of the game a little bit. Wasn't terribly impressed with USC in the opening weekend, so I'm going to edge towards Stanford this. I like the Cardinal. Manny?
Yeah, they're favored by 5.5. The over and under is 56. I like the smart guys up there at Stanford. I'm going to go the Cardinal.
Okay. All right. In-state rivalry here. Iowa State goes to Iowa, and just 3.5 going to the Hawkeyes. This is a Big Ten versus Big 12 matchup, so not in the same conference. Always seems sort of weird when you've got two teams in the same state that don't play in the same conference. But Cyclones last year certainly played spoiler in the Big 12 for a couple of teams, and Iowa always seems to be that team that pulls off an upset against one of the top-ranked Big 10 teams throughout the year. So, who comes out on top here? Iowa's got that great tradition where they wave to the kids, the Children's Hospital across the way, which overlooks the stadium. It's kind of a neat thing that's Iowa's become known for. So, some cool stuff going on there. As for the game, feels like a toss-up. It's definitely a coin flip type deal. Brandon?
I'm going to go Iowa State.
On the road, the Cyclones. Tim?
I watched one Iowa Hawkeye game last year, and they won in dramatic fashion, so that is literally all I know about either school, so I'm going to go with Iowa. How about that?
Sounds like a plan. Jake?
The in-state rivalry is sitting at 43-22. Iowa's won the last 3 matchups. I just can't see that changing, so I'm going to ride the Hawkeyes.
I'm going to go with Brandon and go Iowa State on this. I think it's going to be a close game. Cyclones, I've been impressed with some of their play in the Big 12 recent years. It's really a coin flip type game. I don't think the home field's going to make that much of a difference in the whole deal. So, we'll go Iowa State. Manny?
Aren't the Hawkeyes black and gold?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what you got. That's what you got, huh?
That's all I got.
Okay.
All right.
All right. You know what? I was just reading about their coach, Coach Ferentz over at Iowa. Just became the winningest coach in Iowa history, and he's now one of the top 5 coaches winning of all time in the Big Ten. We're up there to name with Bo Schembechler and those kind of guys. That means something to me. So I think he's going to have the team playing. They're going to be consistent. They're going to run the ball, and it's going to be Iowa.
Okay. There we go. Kentucky goes to number 25, Florida. They jumped into the top 25 this week, getting a little under 2 touchdowns favorites. However, we will say Kentucky has had some success in big games against Florida in other years, but overall it's definitely been, I think, in the swamp. I don't know how many times Kentucky's lost in a row to them, but I think it's been a lot. Tim?
Yeah, I thought Florida had beaten them some kind of record 20 straight times or something, but I don't know. You need to look that up.
Maybe you're right. I think it could be wrong on that, actually.
I think they've come close to beating Florida lately, but I actually think the last time they played, they almost beat them, and then they were devastated because they almost broke the curse. Yeah, this is, to me, I think you just threw this game in there because I'm a Florida Gator fan.
I did.
And I appreciate that. Yeah. So I can mention that I think Felipe Franks is going to be another good Florida quarterback, and I'm going to go, of course, with the Florida Gators at home at the Swamp in Gainesville.
Jake?
This one was tough for me.
No, then go with Kentucky.
All SEC. Benny Snell was the all SEC running back. He rushed, I believe it was for 125 yards last week, which is his 13th 100-plus yard game. But just like Tim said, Felipe Franks is got my attention. I think he threw for 5 touchdowns in the first half of their other game, and I think that's going to be the difference. So I'm taking Florida as well.
Yeah, 31 straight. I'm sorry. I had them confused with something else. There was a game that I thought they had beaten Florida, but I think it was one where they had lost late, and yeah, it
tragically,
sad. Yeah.
But I think people are sleeping on Kentucky. I think Kentucky's going to be a lot better this year than they have been in the past.
Yeah, and again, just the fact that it's a 31-game losing streak, and it's just a 2-touchdown difference between Kentucky and Florida. This is a game that in previous years probably would have been 25-30 towards Florida. So, but I'll go Gators in the Swamp. I think Florida will get the win. Manny?
Yeah, I've got to make up from last week a little bit. I'm going to go Gators as well, but I'm going to watch this one. I'm kind of thinking Kentucky may surprise some people this year. If not in this game this year, I'm going Florida in this one, though.
Brian?
Well, my good buddy over at the bank, got another bank thing, Richard Kaler. He's a graduate from Florida. He's got a really cool model in his office of the Florida Stadium of the Swamp. Good sign football that he got. I'm going Florida.
There you go. Brandon?
Yeah, I got to stick with the Gators on this one.
Interesting game out in the desert. Michigan State, ranked 15. Did not have a great game last week against Utah State. Now, that may say more about Utah State than it does about Michigan State. Maybe the Aggies are really good, and New Mexico State may find that out in a very hard way this weekend. So, but they go and play Arizona State, who's now coached by Herm Edwards. So, if anything, there's some intrigue going on out at Arizona State. They had a good first weekend. I think that's a positive for them. I mean, I know they didn't play anybody of significance, but this is the first big game, first chance for Herm to kind of show what he's done in the offseason. And, I mean, maybe not so much on the recruiting front of things, but Michigan State's just getting 6 on the road. So this is kind of a more of a toss-up game than I probably would have imagined, but we'll see what happens. Jake?
Herm Edwards, man. I mean, he's a tremendous coach. I love his attitude. They did have a great game last week, but Herm Edwards was still not satisfied. He's still looking for room for improvement. He's still looking at ways to coach him up. He's not overlooking Michigan State whatsoever. He's familiar with their rushing game. I think he's going to put up a fight, and I think Arizona's going to take it.
I think the long road trip, that's part of it for me. We'll see if the heat's any kind of a factor. It's going to be at night, so it may not, but it's, in Phoenix.
Still going to be hot.
I was going to say, in Phoenix, it's still 95 degrees at 8 o'clock.
You're in a concrete jungle. So, that concrete just keeps it hot.
Or Tempe, I should say, but it's still pretty much the whole same city. I'm going to go Sun Devils at home. I know it's 6 points to Michigan State, but no. I'm not. You guys are going to have to change your picks. I'm going to go Michigan State.
What in the world?
Where's the confidence, Charles? Where's the confidence?
I know. The spread, I think 6 on the road is what did it for me, and I don't think Arizona State hasn't done anything in big games in recent years, and maybe Herm's the difference, but with the previous coach who got some good talent in there,
Charles, I don't know if it makes a difference, but Brandon just whispered in my ear that it's only 5.5 point spread.
Michigan State, Manny.
Well, I'm intrigued by Herm Edwards going to this program. I think he's a deal maker. I think he's a rainmaker, and I'm rooting for him. In fact, I was going to pick Arizona State, but my buddy Bruce Foster from Albuquerque came in town, and he's probably listening, and he's a big Michigan State guy. And he's buying lunch today, so I'm going to go ahead and go Michigan State on this one, but I'm going to be rooting for Arizona State.
To be clear, is he buying us lunch today, or
anybody who picks Michigan State?
That's what I was hoping.
Already committed.
Do I need to switch my
He already committed. No, already committed.
So, Caesar, you'll transmit that message to him in case he missed this segment of the show. Right?
There it is. Brian?
Yeah, I think I got to go with Michigan State on this one. I think they're just going to be a little bit too much tough for them. I think it's too early in the season to tell on Arizona State. So, Michigan State.
I'd agree. Brandon?
I'm gonna go Michigan State. I just don't see them winning at Arizona State. But man, I actually would love to see them Arizona State win. I really do. I think that would be a fantastic, game to put on their helmets that they took them out. But I just don't see it.
Tim?
That was confusing. That was a Tim Brock thing you just did. Like, kind of everything was pro Arizona State, negative Michigan State, Brandon. And
I just don't know if they have enough to win. That's that. I just haven't seen enough from Arizona State.
Well, I was hoping you would all pick Arizona State so I could switch my pick and go with Michigan State. But I want Arizona State to win, and I'll go with Jake on this, and we'll start it and end it with Arizona State.
All right, there you go. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back, pick some pro games. You're listening to the KNMZ Football Roundtable on ESPN Alamogordo 103.7.
This is Brandon with Desert Sun. I'm not sure if you all know this, but Desert Sun Auto Group consists of 5 dealerships across the great state of New Mexico. This means we have 5 new car departments with over 500 vehicles to choose from and over 200 quality pre-owned vehicles. Majority of these vehicles, when bought from us, are backed with Desert Sun's lifetime powertrain protection. Stop by either Desert Sun Motors or Desert Sun Toyota today and let us help you find your new ride. See our full inventory at DesertSunMotors.com.
Hi, I'm Pastor Tim Brock, and I'd like to invite you to Christ Community Church, a place to belong, a place to come together, and a place to leave inspired. We have dynamic worship, engaging and relevant Bible teaching, and excellent ministries for everyone in the family. Our worship services are Sundays at 9 and 11:15. Christ Community Church, where it's about relationship, not religion, and where Jesus Christ is Lord. For more information, find us online at christcommunityalamo.org.
Hi, my name is Jake Roberts, and I'm a realtor with Coldwell Banker Southern Nelson. Are you looking for your dream home, or are you looking to sell your property and need the guidance to get noticed? I can help you with professional real estate services today. Call me at 575-446-8574 or email me at jake@nmvistas.com. To view a list of our inventory, visit our website at alamogordo-coldwellbanker.com or visit us at 800 Scenic Drive in Alamogordo.
Sometimes you just need a loan. Your daughter Debbie is getting married. Your son Toby needs a new tuba. Let's face it, families cost money. Things come up that you had no way of predicting. We make personal loans for occasions like this to people who have good credit. So next time you find yourself connected to the unexpected, stop in and see us about a personal loan, subject to credit approval. First National Bank, member FDIC. When you grow, we grow.
At Charles Garland and Harris Insurance, we are proud of the great high schools in Alamogordo, Cloudcroft, Mescalero, and Tularosa. Our student athletes set a valuable example for everyone to follow. They work hard to succeed in the classroom and in competitive sports and contribute enormous time and energy to bring pride to their schools and community. At Charles Garland and Harris Insurance, as we work hard to protect the families and businesses of Otero County, we proudly take pause to follow our student athletes and extend our best wishes for their success every day in the classroom and on game day.
There are no roadblocks scheduled today on either Highway 70 or 54 South. For the latest roadblock information, call 575-678-1178. Today's forecast is calling for partly sunny skies, becoming partly cloudy, 40% chance of rain in Alamogordo, high of 84, low of 62 for Cloudcroft, high of 65 and an overnight low of 47. For tomorrow, we're looking at mostly sunny skies with a slight chance of rain in Alamogordo tomorrow, high of 85, low of 64, Cloudcroft tomorrow, high of 66, overnight low of 49.
ESPN Alamogordo 103.7. Welcome back to the KNMZ Football Roundtable. Moving on to our pro picks for this week. And starting off with the Colts, as they're a 3-point favorite at home against Cincinnati. Home fields, really no big difference from that standpoint. They finally got Andrew Luck back. Cincy, I mean, listen, they've got talent still. I mean, Andy Dalton and A.J. Green and Joe Mixon, I mean, they've got a lot there. We'll see with Indy, the running back situation. I was looking at who their running backs are, and I've honestly never heard of who these guys are. I was like, this so-and-so is going to be the starting running back. And I'm like, all right, cool.
That's not unusual for Indianapolis.
I think they were flying up to see Bell and, trying to wine them and dine them and say,
can they do that?
We'll take you. I don't know. No, I'm just saying. I was really hoping that was all happening, but
yeah.
No, I think the issue with Bell is the fact that he's got the franchise tag on him.
Yeah.
I think that's his.
Oh yeah, he wants a long-term contract. That's the whole reason why he's holding out. So, Brandon, who you like, man?
Well, this is not going to be a very tough pick for me. I'm going to pick Indianapolis at home. They are my team, and I'm glad to see Luck back. So far, from the very little that I've seen him play, he looks good. So I hope the rest of the team looks as good as he does, and they come out and put a win on the board for the first game of the season.
Tim.
Yeah, I think the spread is luck heavy, where people are hoping that they get lucky, that Luck is healthy, and that he's as good as he was in his prime. But, man, you don't play a professional sport for, what was it, 19 months since he's really competed. I think Cincinnati, man, they got Geno Atkins in the middle. They got Carlos Dunlap on the end. If they can get to Luck, it's going to be Cincinnati's game. So I'm going to go with the Bengals.
All right. Jake.
The 19-month layoff is definitely scary, and it doesn't seem like Luck had a lot of impact and contact while in the off season, so that he could kind of get trained up. That said, I was looking into it a little bit, and the Colts have really upgraded their offensive line, so hopefully Luck would not be being chased around and end up on his back. I think if Luck stays up, I think he's going to return to form, and I think the Colts will win this game.
I think first game for Frank Reich as head coach. First game back for Andrew Luck. It's a little bit too much for me. As disappointing as Marvin Lewis in that group is sometimes, I think Cincinnati will get it on the road. I think Andy Dalton in that group. So, Manny?
I like Andrew Luck, and I like this at the oil can, Lucas Oil Can. I've thought about that as well, the long recovery, the long layoff, and I'm just a little worried that there's something else that is not visible in terms of his health or his viability or his overall strength. But I think he's a good guy, and I like it in the Colts at home, so I'm going to go Indianapolis on this one.
Brian.
Yeah, I have Indianapolis as well. However, I had it because Andrew Luck, he's a winner. I like that guy. I like the fact that it's at home. They're getting 3. Brandon's team, they want to go with Brandon because he's an OU guy. All that being said, I just think Andy Dalton in Cincinnati's got a little bit too much for him, and I think when he comes back after that layoff, I think Cincinnati's going to get this one on the road. Brandon.
Threw me for a loop there.
I know. I was trying to change my pick. I was trying to lead you. Red herring, you guys.
Yeah, there you go.
So you went with Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. Going with the Bengals.
Be right.
All right. New England getting 6.5 at home against Houston. Houston's got a ton of talent. New England's, they're the Patriots. I mean, what you would come to expect from them at home. Just remember, they lost the season opener at home last year to Kansas City, so not a completely crazy thing to expect Houston to maybe come in and get the win. They're early in the season. Sometimes they've had some struggles. Jake?
Houston looks great. I'm definitely liking what I see from that team, but I mean, come on, it's Tom Brady. Tom Brady's entering his 19th season. Last year, he led the league in yards with 4,577, 32 touchdowns. I think it was only 8 interceptions. Anything can happen, especially being early, but I got to ride with Tom Brady on this.
Pat's at home, I think, for me, but I certainly think that Sean Watson in that group with J.J. Watt and Jadeveon Clowney and everybody, they can go in and get the win there, but Patriots at home for me. Manny?
I'm going to run a play on this one. I'm going Houston.
All right. I don't think it's a bad pick at all, in all fairness. Brian?
You know what? On this one right here, I was looking at New England, looking at Tom Brady, but I went back to that Kansas City game, the first game of the season. I think they may come out a little slow. Preseason, you really never see what New England's got going. And Houston's got some solid defense with J.J. Watt coming back. So this is going to be my one that I try to get ahead of you guys a little bit because I'm going to go Houston.
Brandon?
I'm going to go New England.
Tim?
Yeah, I would love for the Texans to win for all the reason you guys said, but I'm really far back, so I need to go with New England here.
All right, Bills going to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. Ravens getting 7.5 in this game. I certainly don't think the Bills are as bad as a lot of people are making them out to be, but I think the question mark is how much has Nathan Peterman gotten better from last season to this season. I do think he's gotten better. He played pretty well in the preseason. But
says the man with the Buffalo Bill hat on.
Well, yeah.
Who still won't pick him.
Well, oh, no, and I won't. I mean, my point is basically everybody's saying they're the worst team in the NFL. I think their defense is still good. I think Sean McDermott is going to have the defense playing pretty well. The question is obviously going to be, can Peterman do anything? And I think that's the question. Ravens are good. Ravens were, if they don't lose that game at the end of the season on the Dalton throw, they make the playoffs, and the Bills don't. So, I'm going to go Ravens at their place. I'd love to see the Bills get the win, but there are too many question marks. I just don't think they're as just atrocious as everybody's making them out to be. I think they're like 250 to 1 on the odds to win the Super Bowl this year. They're not going to win the Super Bowl, but I don't know. Manny?
Buffalo Bills have got a lot of question marks.
Yeah.
The Baltimore Ravens are far more predictable in their place. I'm going Ravens at home.
Brian?
Yeah, with Baltimore being 5-1 in their home openers, they got all their starters on defense back at 7.5 point spread. I'm taking Baltimore.
Brandon?
You know, last year Buffalo started off to have a pretty decent season, and then I don't know what happened, but they just...
Hey, man, they made the playoffs.
I understand, but they started off, like, playing really good, and then, I don't know, they just kind of... Baltimore, though, on the other hand, I think there's a little bit more consistency. Baltimore's at home. I'm going to go Baltimore.
Tim?
Yeah, it is funny how everybody hates on Buffalo when they were a playoff team. Like, that's... I can't.
No,
you are hating. You are hating on them.
No.
You are so
I'm not. Like,
angry
I picked
against them.
I was happy to see that.
People can't see my face. I'm joking, of course. Okay.
Charles needs to have a winning something. You know?
Well, and they lost their starting quarterback. I mean, how often does a playoff team ship their quarterback out? And I think Tyrod Taylor's kind of a man, he doesn't turn the ball over, but he's not there. So, yeah, I have no faith in Nathan Peterman either, so I'm going to go. But I don't like Joe Flacco either, but I'm going to go Baltimore.
I think they would have kept Tyrod, but they didn't want to pay him a long-term contract, so that was the issue. And I understand them not wanting to pay him. So, Jake?
Yeah, Baltimore has always been super consistent. They're opening up at home. You got to take Baltimore in this one.
All right, Seattle at Denver. Denver getting 3 points. Talk about question marks. I think there's a lot in Seattle. I think there's a number there in Denver. And I think we're going to at least learn a little bit about these two teams coming up this weekend. So, Brian, you're filling in for our Denver person, so who you like?
Oh, that's pretty simple. We're going Denver, but just because it's the Donna pick, but you don't want to take Denver. However, in Mile High, Denver 17-1 in home openers. I'm not going to go against that, so we're taking the Broncos.
That's a good number. All right, Brandon.
You know, I'll kind of be rooting for Denver, but I think Seattle's going to come in and win on the road.
Tim?
Yeah, I just think Russell Wilson is still really good. I know they've lost some pieces Seattle has on defense, but I don't know why I ever talk about people getting off the bandwagon in Seattle. I don't think they're horrible, but maybe I'll be proven wrong. But I'm going to go with Seattle.
Yeah, I think just the changes in the defense has got to be it, Jake.
Yeah, and they lost a lot of veterans, and they just kind of shipped them off. And I think Case Keenum coming into the quarterback position for the Broncos offers them a level of stability that maybe they haven't had in a while. I'm going to go ahead and take Denver in this.
I think at home, I like the number that Brian gave with Denver. I just think there's some question marks. No doubt that Russell Wilson can put up the points, but there were some games last year where Seattle's offense looked...
Oh, yeah.
They look like the worst offense in the NFL. So Denver still got a very good defense. They still got Von Miller. They still got a lot of great pieces there. So Denver in their place, I think. Manny?
Yeah, I agree with everybody. Denver at home.
All right, so we had...
So you agree with everybody?
Tim and Brandon went Seattle, right? Everybody else went Denver. Okay, I just want to make sure. Dallas at Carolina. Carolina getting 3 in their place. Kind of surprising Dallas doesn't get a primetime game on the opening weekend. It seems like every year they're either on Sunday night or Monday night, but this year they're the late afternoon game there in Charlotte. So, Carolina, certainly a lot to be excited about there. I think Dallas, they lose Dez, but Dez wasn't great last year, so I think that's not going to be that huge of a loss. Tim?
Yeah, obviously I'm a big Dallas Cowboys fan. I think the formula that the Cowboys are obviously going to have to implement is they've really tried to get strong on defense, and they're going to just run the ball and hopefully not turn the ball over. So keep in mind the Cowboys didn't have Zeke 6 times last year, and they were still 9-7, so it's a kind of another sneaky, decent team. I think Zeke makes the difference, and I think the Cowboys can play at home or on the road because of the style that they play. I'm going with the Cowboys.
Jake?
And this one was really tough for me. I really do like Dallas, especially in this game. But with Carolina, they're getting a lot of love right now. They are playing at home. They just brought in Norv Turner, so he's looking at making some changes in there. I hope that Cam can really grasp what Norv's going to bring to the table, and I think that'll be good going forward. But for opening day, I'm going to go ahead and take Dallas.
I like Carolina at home. Manny?
This is for you, Cesar Acosta. He was my official standby for today's show. I'm going Dallas Cowboys.
Okay. Brian?
Usually when I'm asked, who's your football team, I always say whoever's playing Dallas that weekend. So I'm going to use that same theory. I'm going with Carolina.
All right. Brandon?
Man, I'm really torn on this one. I just haven't seen. I think Dallas is, for the most part, a fairly young team. They have a lot of new players that I haven't had a chance to play or see play. Carolina, on the other hand, I'm not a huge Cam Newton fan, so for that reason, I'm going to go Cowboys on the road.
Rams at Oakland. Rams are getting 4 at O.co. So, Manny?
This is the Charles Garland and Harris 5-star lead pipe lock of the week. All you people that are, dishing on the Raiders, all the questions you're raising, everything you think you've got in your pocket now, forget about it. Raiders in the biggity black hole.
Brian.
Jeez. Yep, it was coming. It was coming. But tell you what, with the Rams being the highest scoring team coming back from 2017, you got Gruden, I think, is still trying to get his feet underneath him. You got Donald, Dominic Sue, and Talik on defense. I just think the Rams are going to be too much for them. I think they're going to win. I'm taking the Rams. I would take them to cover the point spread.
Brandon.
I'm going to go Rams as well.
Tim?
Yeah, Goff, Gurley, Cook, Sue, Talib, Peters, Donald, and Sean McVay. I'm going with the Rams.
All right, Jake?
There's still a lot of questions, I think, in that Raiders locker room. And as I mentioned before, I think Gruden might be just a little out of touch and is probably still getting his groove back. The fact that they had to trade away Khalil Mack when there was no reason to, they still had him under control, just makes me think there's something else going on in there. I'm taking the Rams.
I knew they knew that they weren't going to spend the money on him. They spent the money on Carr. But regardless of the stuff that's going on with Oakland, I just like the Rams. I think that they've got something special there, so I'm going to go with the LA Rams on the road. So we'll see. It's going to be a tough place to go in, and we'll see in year two. I mean, sometimes there's a little bit of a step back for a team that had as much success as the Rams did last year, so we shall see. All right, we'll talk to you guys from Rodoso coming up tonight. Actually, I'll talk to you here in about 2 hours on the Roundup. So have a great week, and we'll see you guys next week here on the KNMZ Football Roundtable.
You're listening to ESPN Alamogordo 103.7, Southern New Mexico's sports leader, KNMZ Alamogordo.
Hour number 2 is here with us, just waiting to have my next guest on the line. It's not going to be Eric Reed. My apologies for that slippage. It's Ed Reed, the future Hall of Famer. Played safety for the Baltimore Ravens, Super Bowl champion, one of the elite safeties to ever play in the National Football League. He'll be with us on behalf of Crown Royal. Looking forward to talking to him the second he gets on the line. Again, the number to call him, as always, is 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. The moment he is on the air with us, I will let you know, and we will go from there. For those of you who don't know, who are living under a rock, who are fans in the National Football League, who don't know what the hell you're talking about, that did not pay attention, played 12 seasons, the vast majority of them with the Baltimore Ravens. 2004 Associated Press Defensive Player of the Year, 9-time Pro Bowler, 5-time first-team All-Pro, 64 career interceptions, played alongside the great Ray Lewis for many, many years, and also starred at Miami. That's the negative for Ed Reed once he comes on the line with me. I'm going to need him to explain what the hell happened to the Miami Hurricanes last week when they lost to LSU. I'm going to need an explanation from him. Because you know how he, Michael Irvin, Ray Lewis, and all of those boys are about the Hurricanes, but they were not represented appropriately last week.